Training for your next big race and not sure about your nutrition? Well, Precision Fuel and Hydration are sponsoring the show this month, and their free online planner has you covered. It calculates exactly how much carbs, sodium and fluid you need to smash your goals. Me and the team at Inside Running Podcast swear by the 90 gram resealable gel to have on our long runs. It's been a game changer for us. If you want to crush your race day strategy, hit the link in the show notes, try the planner and grab 15% off your first order with the code IR-SPRING2025. That's IR-SPRING2025. Hit the link, grab your discount and crush those goals. Now on to the episode. Welcome to episode number 411 of the Inside Running Podcast. A massive thanks for being with us for another week. We've got a massive show for you this week. We'll kick off our coverage of the World Champs. Some drug news actually come out of the World Champs before they even kicked off. We've got some New South Wales half marathon results, listen to question, whispers, croaks, or potentially our guest might go on the loose tonight. And we'll preview a few things coming up. Welcome to my co-host. He's up in Canberra. You may have heard him on Friday on the national radio station. Would have went out to millions, I think, and he did a brilliant job. Bradley Croker, welcome to you, the new ABC Australia athletics correspondent. How are you?
Good, Brady. Yeah, I won't be volunteering again to do that anytime soon. I was like, her intro before she actually said hello to me was like, the Australian track and field team kicks off tomorrow in Tokyo. It's going to be headlined by 17-year-old Gauk. And I was just like, oh, come on. It's like Nicola Olaslagers. She's world number one, won Diamond League, broke the Aussie record. She is the gold medal chance. Just that mainstream media, they just don't get it.
Oh, you put your own touch on it, though. I loved it. You cut down the Gauk out stuff early. You tried to move it on to a bit of distance running as quick as you could. But I was learning people's names. I don't follow field at all. And I was messaging like Zachar and Moose while you were on the call, just being like, he's teaching me about athletics Australia-wide. So well done taking that. Thanks to their producer for reaching out to the show. And I think you represented our little area of the world very well on a massive platform. There'll be millions of people listening to that.
Yeah, I don't know. But I've got to thank Tarby because he sent us through the that media kit. So I did have some stats there which were helpful.
Yeah. Our other co-host, the usual one, he's on the streets of Japan. He just sent through a photo of himself with Clayton Young at the ASICS store. I was very, very jealous when I saw that photo come through. So we subbed out a 2:14 man because he's on the streets of Japan with another 2:14 man. This man as well, I reckon, Croaks, did qualify for the World Championships back in 2019, but his country decided not to send him.
Rough.
Nick Earl, welcome back to the Inside Running Podcast.
Cheers, Brady. I think I was actually 5th in the rankings that year, but they just took Callum Hawkins because they had the kind of idea that they'd only bring people who they thought had a chance of getting a medal. So it was to say I wasn't jealous when I saw Moose going to St. Moritz and then doing World Champs. I'd be lying because I was sick as a dog. I was fuming about it. But anyway, I wouldn't have made it anyway, even if they'd picked a full team.
Yeah, but still, it could have been the emergency. A couple of people injured,
there were a couple of people injured actually saying that. So
you qualified in regards to the world athletics standard you needed to hit.
Yeah, that was a lifetime goal actually, and I couldn't really believe it when they moved it to 2:16 because 2:19. I remember thinking, I don't think that's doable because they moved it right back up before Super Shoes came in. Suddenly 2:19 was the standard to encourage more people to do marathons because it was kind of dying a bit, to be honest. And then Super Shoes come in and suddenly we're back at like what was the qualifier this time? 2:08 was it? This World Champ, which is just insane.
It is, but thanks for filling in, Nick. You've come off the Road to Sydney series recently with Leanne and Moose, and how's the recovery off the back of Sydney Marathon? What was that, 2 weeks ago yesterday?
2 weeks ago yesterday, and my legs only just started feeling normal again, to be honest. I've done plenty of marathons and races, etc. That was the worst DOMS I've ever had. I listened to you, Brady, even though you didn't go 100%, but you were back doing a session 3 days later or something. I was like, I don't know how you did that. My legs were cooked, and I had a message from Jess Stenson as well as Lisa, both saying that their legs were just completely cooked. So it was amazing to see you back out there doing some proper sessions as well. Goodness me, don't know how you managed that.
I feel like I'm actually still sore from like the marathon, the big session on the Wednesday, and then the half marathon last weekend. Like, I think it was something like, is it 80, nearly 80 kilometers worth of work quicker than like 3:20 average or something like that, like about 3:25 average maybe. So
would you ever give that to one of your athletes?
No,
I asked him that last week.
Of course you wouldn't. It's craziness. But
I don't coach people at my kind of level or have the years of like running in their legs as well. So
but now you're sick.
Yeah, so I'm recording this. I've got some butter menthols next to me. I've got a jar of honey just to soothe the throat. I think my week last week that I'm about to recap, that definitely was impacted due to a bit of sickness that may have been the lingering fatigue off that amount of work, but that's okay. Better to get sick now than in, the race is in 12 weeks. So get out of the way early, hopefully. But Nick, back to you. You tell us about like training. Did you jump back into things or you just jog through?
I literally couldn't walk for a couple of days. And then I tried to do a run on the Wednesday. So the race was on Sunday. And then on the Wednesday, I went for like a 2K run or whatever. And I was just like, this isn't even running. This is like, it was terrible. And then it just built up. And then by the Sunday, I did like an hour with the group. So yeah, it kind of took a week until I kind of felt like a runner again, to be honest. And then this week was like kind of a bit more normal, but still not there yet. But hopefully this week, I actually came down with a bit of a cold yesterday as well, actually. So, I'm all right, and kind of back at it, which is really nice because you miss it. When you do the taper, you miss it. You do the race, which is kind of weird because there's just a lot going on when you go to a big marathon, and then you can't run for a couple of days, and then you're doing running where you just, it feels awful. So you do miss it, I find. I don't know if you boys find the same, because I remember Josh Harris back in the day, he said he loved it when you kind of had that like break after running a marathon. He loved it, and I hate it. I don't know like how you boys feel. I think if you've had a good one, then I still don't enjoy it. I think the break after a marathon,
I just find the way it sets, like just going for a run in the morning sets up your day, or having a run to look forward to throughout the day, how it clears your head. Like not even like training performance. I just like doing some kind of, that's why I often go for a walk or something like that, just to get outside even when you're on those break times.
Yeah, walking's so boring.
It is, yeah. You put in a decent podcast, get in a footy podcast or something like that, and just, Even Melbourne the baby carrier. I used to enjoy like putting one of the babies in the baby carrier and taking them for a walk.
Just going for a little stroll. Yeah. I took Matilda out a couple of times for a walk. That was nice, but you do miss the feel of running though.
Yeah, well, especially because you've come off like, obviously in the lead up to a marathon, you're generally super, super fit, and you then have to take time off to recover, but you're not going to be as fit when you start back as what you were. Is Melbourne half still on the cards for you?
Yeah, I'm signed up. I mean, it's 4 weeks away, which kind of, it's quite daunting actually to think like psychologically kind of giving it 100% again, like for a half marathon, which like when you're doing a marathon, half doesn't feel long, but when you've had a couple of weeks off, suddenly it's like, shit, that's 21 Ks. That's like, and you obviously have to run faster than you do in a marathon. So it's kind of, that's tough. But I mean, I love racing. I always race. It's great to set set a benchmark. Even if I'm not super fit, I still really love it. So, if I run 70 minutes or something, then next year I can be like, oh, that's an easy target for me to beat. So I just love getting out there and just like the vibe for Melbourne. It's probably not as big as Sydney was because the whole major thing. But when you do the half, you're still kind of in amongst the marathon, and it's a different event from like a major because Sydney did feel like a major this time. But it's still great to get out there and finishing in the MCG. It's just I just love it, and I always think that saying that you'll never be as young again as you are right now.
Mm.
I always think, what if that's true for my fitness as well? So I'll never be as fit as I am ever again. What if that happens? So I'm like, I always just take the opportunities and get out there where I can and just enjoy it as much as possible. Because you
So
just never
positive,
know
isn't he, Brady?
He's come with some big sayings. I reckon he had those for the last 8 weeks on road to Sydney, but decided to wait till the main show croaks.
Yeah.
Because that is some deep stuff, and I love it. That's the stuff I should have been saying to Croaks to get him racing all these years, Nico.
If you don't enjoy racing though, I know a load of people who get so stressed out and they prefer the training. So I'm like, why would you race if you don't enjoy it? Like, you don't have to. We're not professionals. We're not like Leanne, who is the ultimate professional. Like we're just hobby joggers essentially in comparison. So if you don't enjoy racing, don't do it. I mean, I know what you say, Croaks, is like you never want to give like a half-assed effort, which I totally get. But I'm one for like setting a marker and then trying to break that marker rather than trying to beat your PB all the time. Just kind of beat the last one you did, kind of thing. And I
I'm
think
more
for me,
about
that's a motivator.
I enjoy the process more than the end result in a way, particularly now because I know that the end result's not going to be what it used to be. But I still love the process of going out and doing my 2 sessions a week, or even just ticking the box of a long run. Like, there's no better feeling than knowing you've been out for 2 to 2.5 hours on a Sunday morning. Like, there's just a sense of satisfaction about that, even if there is no race on the horizon.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, for me personally, I don't know how you do it because I need a race to get me out the door. And it's just, I mean, everyone's different and people run for different reasons. And like, just that feel for like Sydney with all the crowds and stuff, it was just exhilarating. It was so fun. And to like finish a marathon where I wasn't completely cooked and dying and trying to hang on, I actually had quite a strong finish, which was the first time in years I've actually had a pretty strong finish. So there's nothing like it. It's just awesome. So I reckon I'll be out there in 4 weeks time. And if it's not the best race ever, who cares? No, money's not on the line for me. Not like Leanne having all that pressure, because I was nervous before the marathon, but having that as I get paid. I'm a climate science lecturer. So I've got that coming in, whereas this is her payday for a year essentially. Like, obviously, like it worked out, but like the nerves beforehand must have been crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have hated it.
She handled pretty well though, Nick. You got a front row seat to it. You were wiping the gels off her cheeks before she got on TV at the end.
That was so funny. She was just like, "What do I look like? What do I look like?" I was like, "Okay, you're fine. Just wipe. You got a bit of spit." And then she's on like international TV, so I was like, "It's probably lucky I was there, actually." Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Have you got give us a training week? So this is from a week to 2 weeks post a marathon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this was when I just started feeling a bit more normal. So Monday was just an easy 10K working from home. Then I did an easy jog the next day. And mine and Moose's arguments about going for runs which are less than 25 minutes. This was a 15-minute run and I loved every second of it. Just when I got a bit of time at lunchtime, get outside in the sun, just do it. Like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with going out for a run which isn't 25 minutes. And then I went back to Pete Lydon sessions, which is like a big, I talked about it on the road to Sydney, a big community training session where I think we get about 90 people rock up for this fartlek that we do on the ovals up by the track on the domain. So this one was 3 by 3 minutes with 1 minute off, 2 minutes with 1 minute off, and then 1 minute, 2 minutes off. So you do that 3 times. And I always think I'm going pretty well when I average like 320s for the half an hour. So like I got just over 9k. So that was nice to be going some. Obviously that's with a bit of GPS mayo, but yeah, that was good to be back out there and really like digging deep and trying again. And it was nice to get the spikes on soft grass. So I love getting the spikes on for those sessions, and because you run so much in super shoes that it kind of gets my knees and my hips, whereas the when you're in spikes it's all down calves and ankles and stuff. They're kind of like the pressure. So yeah, really enjoyable.
So this is on. There's a grass oval up there near the track at Queen's Domain.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, and there's a loop around there too, isn't there? Like a 2 or 3k loop on the road.
Yeah, that's right. So if you go to the north of where my map is on Strava, there's Max's Infinity Loop, it's called, and that goes like 2.5 k's, or 2.4 k's around. But it's quite hilly, and so I mean, I do plenty of workouts on there actually. But yeah, this is just the community group, and it goes from like sub 15 minutes for runners at the front to like people who run sort of 40 minutes for 5k. So it really is for everyone, and Pete is an absolute legend. There's no ego with this guy. He's in his 70s. He's been a running coach for decades, and he just like anyone comes along, he just welcomes new people every week. And then if they never come back, he doesn't care. But if they're regulars, he loves it. So it's such a nice group. And yeah, at the front we had Thomas Wilson. He's going to do Run Prix next week, and I reckon he'll go sub 31. So he's been really good training partner, as like and he does these most weeks. So yeah, hopefully he runs well. He's one of those guys who runs way within himself, like in races, and then he'll always finish really strong and kind of do.
Sounds like Brady at Sydney.
Yeah, true.
Burnley.
But he'll basically go out. He'll do even splits, and I want to see him take a bit of a risk. So hopefully he'll go out in like 15:20 for the first half at Run Prix, so he can nicely go sub 31. Because at Lonnie, he just went out too conservatively. I went out with the 3 minute group, and we were the same fitness. I go out in 3 minute group, and he's out there with like the 3:10s, and it's just like at halfway, I'm at 15:05, and then I'm just hanging on for dear life for the last 5, and I finish in 30:49. And he even splits and runs like, or even negative splits, but he ran like 31:20 something. And it's like, if you just took a bit of a risk, you would have gone sub 31. So I think that's the plan. So look out for him at Run Prix. Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, really good training partner. So he put me to the sword actually, but it was so nice to be back out there, like training hard. So that was good. Yeah, then just a 9k jog around Hobart on Wednesday. Easy 12.5, just around the uni ovals on Thursday. Friday, just a 6k. Legs feeling pretty good by now, so I decided to do a park run on the Saturday, and then have a bit of a break, like a kind of 2-3 minute jog, down to get out of the way of the people doing park run, and then go do a park run, do a 5k tempo down to the beach at Kingston. This is beautiful part of Tassie. If you're ever in Tassie, it's a nice place to run. Testing out those Hoka Rocket X3s, and they felt good, but my body was just like, nah. So I was struggling that morning. So it was a 16:02 for the park run, and then 17:20 for the 5k tempo. Good session though. I was happy with kind of how much effort I put in, kind of thing. It was like, it felt like I ran like 15:30 and then like a kind of 16:30, but the watch told me otherwise, unfortunately. But yeah, lovely to be out there. So that was good. And then we went down to Charlotte's. That's my wife, her family shack. On Saturday. So my Sunday run was solo, and I tend to go croaker pace when I'm solo on a Sunday, because I just want to. It's more fun. You kind of just you just get going when you're by yourself. And yeah, I did 4:01s for 70 minutes, so that's just 17.3 k's.
That's not croaker pace these days. That's well quicker than croaker pace.
Well, I don't know, Croaks. I don't know. So that was 83k week. So yeah, it's good to be back. Picked up a bit of a cold, so just kind of went a bit easy today. But hopefully I can be back over 100k's this week, and then yeah, try to get fit for Melbourne.
Very good. Just see his Strava comments here, Croaks, for his park run. Just got Australian of the Year, Grace Tame, calling him out. He put in the description 16:02. I feel really out of shape though. And she's come off the top rope here, runs a 16:02 5K, followed by another 17:20, and says he's out of shape. I love that from her. Bang.
It's all relative though, isn't it?
It is all relative. Grace, that's his marathon pace.
Exactly. But yeah, Grace is great. She's you see her quite often around the running scene in Hobart, but she's obviously doing talks all over the place. So she's yeah, you often see her up in Sydney quite often, etc. So
I think she runs with nice I think she runs with Crichton a fair bit in Canberra.
Yeah, right.
Often see like Sean's Strava comment saying, lap of the lake with Grace.
Yeah, nice.
Right. NordVPN has partnered with the Inside Running podcast to offer you an amazing discount. Head over to nordvpn.com/inside running to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 4 additional months on top of that. Think of NordVPN as your personal bodyguard for your online activity. It encrypts your internet traffic, shielding your personal information from those prying eyes and online criminals with state-of-the-art encryption. It can help you book flights and hotels for your next race, as well as when you're over there, you can connect to a NordVPN server in your home country and safely enjoy the content as if you never left. Wherever you travel, it's perfect if you want to follow local Aussie sport. With NordVPN, you can access all your streaming services from back home. Don't forget, there is literally no risk with your 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try, and if you like it, great. If you don't, they'll issue a full refund, and you can pretend the entire situation never even happened. Check out our link, nordvpn.com/inside running, to get your subscription started today. You can also find the information in the episode description and the link in our social media bio. All right, Croaks, good recap, Nick. Tell us about, because you had a bit of action on your Strava. We saw some stuff pop up.
I had a pretty eventful week, really. So last time I was on, I had booked in for a scan. So got a referral. Spoke to my physio mate, Ben Liddy in Sydney. He wrote me a referral. I called up first thing Monday morning, thinking it would be 2 weeks. And they're like, oh, we can fit you in at 2:00 tomorrow. I was like, done. Although I also had a telehealth appointment with my cardiologist, Andre, at 1:30. So I was like, well, how am I going to make this work? But I know Andre well enough that if I couldn't do that, we could just, reschedule. So, went for the scan. And so I'm driving to the scan. It's about half an hour. So I've got the telehealth thing set up in the car, knowing that, Andre is always fairly late. So I got for the appointment at 2:00. Still wasn't on with Andre, so I just messaged him saying, I've had to jump off this telehealth appointment because I've got this MRI. So I had the MRI. The results came back like that afternoon. Like Ben called me, said, scans come back. Basically, your bad leg, where you're having issues with your calf, is 100% like fine. There's no bone, there's no muscle damage. But your good leg has grade 2 tibial stress syndrome. And I was like, well, I've had no pain in that leg whatsoever. I haven't run for the last month. So it sort of provided more questions than answers, really. But the fact that nothing structurally was wrong, he then started to think that maybe it was more of a neural thing coming from my back, which sort of makes sense because when we ran in Sydney, Brady, for that Brooks thing, I was good for 10, 15 minutes. Then it sort of tightened up. I was like, it's no good. I haven't run for like 3 weeks. It should be getting better if it's a small tear. Go on the harbour cruise, come off the harbour cruise. Then I run about 1.5 K up to Town Hall and I feel absolutely nothing. So it's obviously, they're thinking it's, if something's going on with my back, that causes, the nerves that run down into your calf to cramp and spasm and that sort of thing. So, so that was Tuesday, and then my bike arrived on Thursday. So I put that together, tried to get it working. It wouldn't work. I was so pissed off Thursday night. And so then I'm joining this like Wahoo kick-ass shift Facebook group to try and work out, and like I'm putting up like, well, put up like there's this like error sort of code. I'm like, what does this even mean? And then I found out that some people, if they wipe the connect, so there's like this magnet that connects the motor to the what is it, the handlebars, and like the handlebars got obviously all the gears and stuff in it. So there's like a little magnetic and a magnet and pins. You need to wipe that down with like an alcoholic sort of swab, and it works. So I did that Friday morning, and it actually started working. So yeah, in terms of exercise last week, gym Tuesday, gym Friday, and then I jumped on it on the Sunday using this My Whoosh app, and picked this course, and it was the definitely the wrong course for me to do, given I haven't exercised in about 5 weeks. I haven't ridden a bike for ages. And about 1.5 km into this thing, there's like a 2-kilometer climb. So I was pretty gassed by the end of that. But I rode for 40 minutes. So that was my exercise for the week. So yeah, 19.6K of cycling and 2 gym sessions. And then obviously just watching a heap of athletics Saturday and Sunday morning. And then watching the Raiders lose.
Oh yeah, that was a hard watch. You watched that, Nick? I turned it off. I thought we'd won it.
I got a message from my mate who knew I was doing the podcast. It was like, make Brad talk about the Raiders. And I looked it up. I saw there was 1 point difference, but apparently they chucked away a big lead or something.
Oh yeah, choked.
I was so overstimulated yesterday because I'd come off like a late night Saturday watching the athletics, and because we're doing the daily shows, I need to be like really invested in what's happening and sort of make notes as the races are happening. Then when watching the women's marathon Sunday morning, then I go and do this bike ride and cook myself for 40 minutes. Then I do the first daily show with Jeff and Ellie straight into the Raiders match which went overtime by like 6:30 last night. I'm just like, I need to just chill out.
So you race, are these people's names and stuff here? Do you do races against these people?
Not really. There's just, I don't fully understand it yet. I'm sort of learning, but there's other people on the app, and based on what speed you're going at, you go past them or they go past you. I'm struggling to get my head around it a little bit because it's one of those, because it's a virtual cycling thing. If you get to a downhill, I can basically stop pedaling and it's still going to tell me that I'm going 45k an hour like you would outside. If you stop pedaling and you weigh 62 kilos and it's a 7% gradient hill, and so if you're racing these things, I think you're better off not doing much on the downhill to get your heart rate going, or get your heart rate down and then go hard on the hills, which is different from every exercise bike I've used, because I just try and just keep the effort consistent.
Was there people chatting on this thing?
Well, I think you can. I don't know how to do that.
Arguments, Croaks.
At the end of the day, like this is I don't plan on doing this like full time.
He says that now, doesn't he?
Timestamp that.
He's going to be going to Worlds in a couple of months.
Did you see?
Australian kit.
Did you see who commented? My first ever
Josh
ride,
Harris.
Aussie champ in e-cycling. So
I'm you guys calling him Mr. Indestructible on the podcast back in the day. Mr. Indestructible. Talk about a jinx.
Has it ran since?
But yeah, I did run today, actually. I did 5 by 5 minutes with one 90-second walk in between, and I didn't feel anything. So that's positive.
How was the calf on your uphills on the bike?
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. Good to see you exercising. Got some data about what may be wrong with your body. Just confusing data.
Yeah.
But you're there.
That's what the physio was talking about my knee, because I've got patellofemoral on my right knee. And he was saying, like, at the beginning of a race, can you feel it? Like a big race. Like parkrun, I feel it for sure, because it's not like a race. It's just a training session. But like before Sydney, I couldn't feel it at all. And he was just like, he was talking about it being kind of psychological as well as kind of physical. There's a bit of like a highlighted bit on the bone scan, But he's like, yeah, it's not a big deal. And it's like, if I did your other knee, there's probably going to be worse things on there.
Oh, 100%. Like when I was running my best, if you scan my body, things would have come up for sure.
Definitely.
Even though I was 100% healthy. But just going back, Brady, remember when it first happened, I said that it was a morning session. I didn't feel like I'd warmed up properly and my back and hips felt really tight. So
Yeah,
it
you're on
does,
the treadmill.
it does make sense that I need to work on like back mobility and some of those neural like flossing stuff.
Yeah. All right, good. I'll whistle through this week. Monday, it was coming off that half marathon, so I just had 45 minutes easy, 4:45 pace. Saw my first dead snake of the season, which isn't good because now you got to start thinking about where you're jogging. Just one extra thing to think about when you're planning your tracks. It's early too, Croaks. A week out of winter, seeing dead snakes. So yeah. Anyway,
we get a ton at 7 Mile where we do our Sunday runs. That's a very sandy kind of area,
Ooh.
and it's you often you hear like the rustle in the in the kind of shrubs next to you. Just like, I don't want to know. I don't even look. I'm like, I don't want to know if that was a snake because
I heard as well they're probably a little bit more dangerous, or you're more likely to probably like step on one or be bitten by one in that sort of fringe season because they're not quite as warm. Like, because it's obviously not as hot now as it is January, February. So they're a little bit docile. And
they're a bit lethargic, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Isn't this the breeding season as well for them at the moment?
Don't know.
Yeah. I hate them. Those tiger snakes are terrifying. I remember once
massive
we were running. Me, Bailey
life.
Mazzecchi Hintz, and Ben Covington were running, and the one was just on the middle of the road, and basically me and I think it was Bailey, we just ran behind it and kind of didn't worry about it too much. So the heart rate goes up, but then I think, maybe it was Bailey, but anyway, he got trapped on the wrong side and the snake was in the middle of the road. He couldn't decide whether to go left or right and would just start screaming. It was so funny.
No, I hate them.
That's horrible.
I would like fang it for a K afterwards. Just drop a 3-minute K just to get away from them. Even dead ones, when I see dead ones, they freak me out. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
I can't stand them.
50 minutes in the morning, 4:34 pace, 40 minutes in the afternoon, 4:39 pace. Wednesday, 50 minutes in the morning, and then 40 minutes on the treadmill that afternoon, watching some YouTube. And then Thursday, I was getting like sick throughout this week too. So like Sunday and Monday night had like a fever, terrible waking up with like just drenched in sweat and stuff, but then freezing cold 5 minutes after. And then like the cold symptoms were kind of like coming on, but it was all like below the shoulders. And I'm like, I was feeling okay. And my heart rate was still okay when I was jogging. So I didn't think I had to modify my workout too much. And then
you're just trying to do a Leanne, weren't you? You're like, I can't take days off. Leanne wouldn't take days off. Well,
I did a test, one of those, influenza A, B, and COVID ones, and everything come back negative. So I'm like, this is okay. So my workout was 6 by 10 minutes. That's the other thing. It's not like they're little workouts either. So alarm went off at 4:45 a.m. because I had to get this done before school. And I'm just like, nah, I'm DNSing this workout. I'm not doing this. Feel like shit. Then I had a coffee. Then I put some music on, just got up and about. And I'm like, okay, I can start this workout. Did the warm up, felt okay. Heart rate probably slightly a bit higher than what I'd usually jog for my warm up. And then I thought the only way I can get through this workout is if I'm going to go heart rate only. I'm going to go conservative early, and then ideally I get to the last two and I can kind of pick it up a bit. So instructions were to keep the heart rate under 170, which I well and truly did. And then these are like my heart rate averages for all 6 of them. So I went 152, 157, 159, 162, 163, 164. All off 90 seconds walk between. And then the paces were 327, 326, 320, 321, 317, 316. So it actually turned into half of it was probably at the pace that I'd want to be doing, but I thought the only way I could get through that workout if I was conservative early. I did 45 minutes that afternoon as well, 4:43s. And
Brady,
then
just what got you out of the door? Like, so what was it that, because you're feeling sick, it's 4:45 in the morning, you've got an hour of hard running to do. Like, what got you out of the door? Is it because it's on the program, I've just got to do it, I don't need to think about it, this is going to happen? Or is it Valencia, I'm going to run 2:17 at Valencia? What was it that actually kind of gets you out the door there, do you reckon?
Well, I think firstly, routine gets me out of the door because it's just like, well, like that's just the habit is that you get out the door. But then I kind of was explaining that I kept changing the goalpost. So it was like, all right, I'll warm up. I don't have to commit to the whole workout, but commit to the warm up. And then it was like, all right, commit to and I did it like 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back. So I was always like back at my car every second one. So it's like, if this feels shit, I'm doing 2 of them, 20 minutes. And then I'm like, all right, maybe today I can get 4 done. And then like, I never felt, I'd have like little coughing fits in between, but I wasn't feeling sick. It was just like more of a sore throat. Like, I guess that is feeling sick, but it like didn't feel like it had impacted my running. Like what Leanne trained through, I think was way harder than what I was training through on this day. But my biggest concern was, and I use this saying all the time, like, am I putting myself further in a hole that's going to take me longer to get out of? And in hindsight, the answer was yes. Like I thought I was just do it as soft workout, get it done. Don't risk I had a 40K tempo to do on the Sunday. Like let's not risk doing the 40K tempo on the Sunday. But then I went downhill afterwards. So I did a double that day, 45 minutes. And to Dan's credit, like I'd message him after this workout saying, hey, I just went like conservative, feeling a bit sick. And he did say, whilst I was out doing my double, like don't do your double and just really like go symptom based from now on. Like you'd much prefer to miss 2 or 3 days than to miss the next 2 or 3 weeks.
This is where as runners, like we often do get it wrong because in a way we are obsessed with it, especially if you are wanting to, compete at a reasonably high level. And we always go for the more risky option than the more conservative option, more times than not. And
it's very hard to coach someone remotely too when you guys would know it, like mentoring or, assisting people with programs and stuff. Like when someone's sick, it's like, well, how sick are you? Like, and the athlete will probably always say like, oh no, I'm all right. I can push through. And I bet you guys do the same as me. It's like, no. I'm telling you, you're having the next 2 days off. I don't care. I'd prefer to be safe than sorry here.
I mean, Leanne, I don't think reason because she had 4 weeks until the marathon. So she basically couldn't miss a week in her head. And whether that was beneficial or not to her race, it kind of paid off in the end. But I mean, if she could have easily dug a hole, she's taken a big risk there. And you've kind of taken a bit of a risk here. And I totally get it how you've done the warm up, you felt all right. And then you did like an out and then a back. So you kind of, And then once you're going, you're like, you might as well just carry on. But it's just like, it's risk reward. And it's, I guess you would have felt, who knows whether you would not be sick right now if you hadn't done that workout. No one.
But I guess the flip side is if you don't do the workout and you do take a couple of days off, like, you are not going to go backwards in fitness, but you are more likely to improve your health.
Yeah, 100%.
By doing that session, you're not really progressing. You're not progressing your fitness that much.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side again, if you always kind of miss sessions when you feel a little bit rough, then you might end up missing, quite a few, especially if you're a school teacher and you're just constantly surrounded by germs and feeling a bit rough, like quite often. Then I
feel like I know when to like hold them and then when to fold it. Like I train enough solo and have been training long enough consistently. I know when I'm being like soft and when I'm like, no, I need 48 hours here. And I think because I'd already had the fevers on like Monday, Tuesday, by the time I got to Thursday, it's like, well, I don't have a fever. Like even that last 10 minutes, I ran at 316 at 164 heart rate. So it's like, it's not showing that I'm absolutely cooked. But so I think it was, okay. I don't know. I could have had that day off and then be fully healthy by Saturday and then banged out the 40K tempo. But I kind of shut things down. Friday I did 45 minutes and I was, saying it was just like my throat, just that dry cough. And because I was like coughing all night, just having terrible sleep. So then you're like tired because of that. And then Saturday I did 70 minutes and then pretty much like I packed my bag to do the 40K. I kind of like packed the bag and put it in the spare room where I get ready when everyone can still sleep in the morning. I packed it. I'm like, cool, 40K tempo. Well, it was like 40K at steady pace, like 340 to 350. And I'm like, big intentions to like get that done. But I was up all night coughing. I don't reckon I got more than like 4 hours sleep. And I was like, you know what? That's going to put me way further in the hole. Week of 105K, 12 weeks to Valencia. Let's just have that as a bit of a, get the body, freshen up the legs, get over this sickness, and now go into a marathon block, which is a bit of a transition kind of week.
And we spoke about that last week anyway, that given what you'd been doing over the last month, you were due to have a bit of a reset mentally and physically before getting into the mental grind and physical grind of a marathon block.
Yeah, which you think it's going to be good, don't you? Like, oh, this is good. I'm going to have the full day off running. You might watch some movies or something, read some books, but because you feel like shit, none of that stuff feels good doing anyway. You're just like, oh, it's 20 degrees outside. I want to get out there. I want to be running. There's footy finals on. I want
grumpy because you like running.
Yeah, I want to have energy to do heaps of stuff. But anyway, let's move on with the show. Hey, who are you thanking?
I think Leanne. Just quickly, Leanne's kind of changed the. She's raised the bar when it comes to being sick. Unfortunately, listening to that week, 180 Ks when she had influenza B, I was just like, let's just ignore that. Let's pretend I didn't hear it, because I'll just feel completely soft.
That though, I don't think it raises the bar, because one thing, and I didn't actually mention this to Leanne, but when I was having all of my heart issues and they were trying to get to the bottom of it, one of the potential reasons that people get inflammation of the heart is actually running through quite bad sickness. So although physically you can go out for a run, it's going to feel absolutely terrible. You're sick, you've got fevers. You don't know what that's actually doing to your heart. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you're the guy to talk to about this.
What about if you just got a sore throat, Croaks? What they say about that?
I think that's fine. But but a sore throat and a flu with fevers is completely different.
Yeah, all I've been looking at is heart rate. Something to note there. Let's thank some Patreon supporters. Croaks, who you got?
I've got Nathan Safe. Nathan lives in Sydney, and I actually coach him. He's run 18 minutes at the Rhodes Park Run, 37:38 at the 2023 Sydney 10, 83 minutes at the 2023 New South Wales Half Marathon Champs, and 2:52 at last year's Valencia Marathon. He works for Qantas as a lawyer and was previously a pilot with them, and he's training for this year's Valencia Marathon as well. So he's going to be over there. So
he'll be on the balcony, Croaks.
Just about to start his prep. Yep.
The balcony with Chriso after the race.
Yeah.
He'll be there. Thanks for your support, Nathan. Who are you thanking for us tonight, Nick?
Yeah, I got Benjamin Mills, and think he lives in Manly in Sydney, and I spent a bit of time there before the marathon the other day. What a beautiful spot. Not sure about the running around there. I didn't have to do too much, but I think he must know some routes, because he's managed to run 17:46 for 5K, and that was at last year's Night of Fives in Hobart. So yeah, does a bit of running in Hobart. So maybe there's some family. I was at that event, and they've just sent the advert out for next year. So hopefully Benjamin Mills comes down and does it again. They've actually it was it incorporated the Tasmanian state champs last year, state 5K champs, but because of all the rules, because it's a state champs, you have to wear the spikes, you have to wear X number of bibs or whatever, you have something on the back and the front, and then the hip numbers, etc. They're actually not having it as the state champs this year, because they reckon it just put too many people off doing kind of a 5K track race, and if it's incorporating the champs, it just feels a bit too professional for people. So they've canned it. So the Tassie State Champs will be another event, which is a shame, because it was really fun having the punters there, as well as kind of hardcore athletes. But anyway, he ran 17:46 there last year, and then 82 minutes at Hobart Half, which is a really rough course. So if he's running 82 minutes there, then he could easily go sub 80 at a different course. And then 2:59 at 2023 Gold Coast Marathon. So that's a nice number to dip the 3 hours. So well done, Benjamin. Thanks for your support.
Thanks, Benjamin. Could take a bit of time off that 2:59 now too, couldn't he? Off that half marathon and the 5K.
Yeah, I reckon so.
He'd have one in the build, hopefully. I'm going to thank Troy Duncan from Rockhampton. He's ran 20 minutes for 5K at the Lammermoor Beach 5K. His 10K and half marathon PBs came during this year's Rocky River half marathon, where he ran 92 minutes. And he has a marathon PB of 3 hours 20 at this year's Gold Coast Marathon. So that weather at the Gold Coast, we kind of whinge about it being hot, wouldn't impact Troy, you wouldn't think, coming from Rockhampton. It's good he's run a PB. It's always good when people have recent PBs, isn't it? They're in the shape of their life, Nick, what you're talking about. This guy was running a PB a couple of months ago. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters for the support of the Inside Running podcast. If you like what we do, you can sign up via patreon.com/Inside Running podcast. This could be the best week to ever sign up to be a Patreon Extra Elite member because my co-host Croaks is doing a mountain of work. We put him in charge of the daily shows. First daily app went out yesterday. It was an hour and 25 minutes. They hooked in Moose he was on the athletics track. He was walking on lane 5, gave us a bit of a recap. We got some new panel members, Nick. We've got a couple of new people debuting over the next couple of days because we lost a few. We've got Moose on the ground over there. Chriso's in race week, so we're not sure how available he's going to be because he's running Berlin Marathon this weekend. Benny Saint's working for Athletics Australia. Who else we missing too? Luke Matthews, which we're trying to lock down. We don't know where he is at the moment, but we got Jai Edwards is stepping up for some shows. We've got Jenny Blundell, Olympic semi-finalist. She's going to be on some shows. Jess Stenson's going to be on one of the shows tonight. So trying to give as many different people opportunities to share their intel. Jeff Risley and Ali Pashley did it last night.
Jeffer is excellent on those shows because he really
so
understands the 800. Yeah. Like when he talks about people like in the 600 meters of the 800 and they do something wrong or something and he can spot it a mile off going, nah, he's going to die because he just did something stupid there. And I'm like, hang on, what are you looking at and what am I looking at? Like,
and he loves it. Absolutely loves it as well.
Really
not
insightful.
Afraid to like talk his mind either. Like if someone does something dumb, he'll just be like, that was a silly move that person did. It cost them 0.8 of a second or whatever.
Which is all the difference. And I just love that knowledge he's got. But obviously he was, he was there living it for years on year and kind of, he was the Aussie 800 guy for years, wasn't he? So
and that's what he was like last night. He was like, I know what these 3 men 1,500 meter runners are feeling because I've been there a stack of times where I haven't advanced to the semi-finals. Yeah. So but
he's also made the semis in the 8 and the 15 at World Champs in the past.
Yeah.
Amazing career.
Yeah. So we're trying to speak as little as possible and just let these experts take over. And that's happening every day. So it's a big week of content. There'll be like 10 hours of content, which we're probably not going to go into the amount of detail we usually would for the results at the World Champs. If you want deeper stuff, that's the place to go. So patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast. It's going to be a massive. There'll be 10 hours of content this week just on that extra level there.
I reckon Chriso will jump in even if he is busy. You get Chriso.
He'll be right.
He's great to listen to as well.
He's just morning Jakob's elimination from the heats.
Yeah, he's going to lose a few slabs of beer.
It's his haircut, I reckon. That's what did it. It's shocking.
Runner news, thanks to Axel Coffee Roasters for bringing us this week's race results. Check them out at axelcoffee.com.au. Before the World Champs kicked off, fellas, Watelchi, the Ethiopian, she came 4th at the Olympics. She's been a World Champs medalist before, one of the best Ethiopian middle distance runners. She was actually prevented from competing. So Ethiopian middle distance runner Tsegaye Watelchi has been banned from the World Track Championships a day before her first race amid a legal dispute over allegedly missing a drug test. So this, she was a silver medalist in the 15 at the last World Champs, 2023. She was set to race in the 1,500 metre heats. She was declared ineligible by CAS. She was accused in May, so that's a long time ago, May, of refusing to give a sample for a doping test without any justification. CAS said Watelchi was cleared by an Ethiopian anti-doping panel last month, but the Athletics Integrity Unit, which oversees doping cases on behalf of World Athletics, appealed to CAS on Thursday and asked for her to be suspended until the case is resolved. That request has now been granted. So a big player in the middle distance world. I reckon Jess Hull, seeing this result, thinks makes her job trying to win that World Championship a lot easier. And like, what strikes me about this story that Ethiopia were happy to clear it and say, no, you're all good. But CAS and AIU had to get involved to be like, no, this can't just be cleared and swept under the rug like this.
Might explain why Kenya have so many banned athletes and Ethiopia don't.
Yeah, that is often the case, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good. The fact that their governing body is okay for them to continue to compete.
Well, she competed the whole way through. Like, how many races has she been in since May as well?
Yeah, quite a few. And so
Yeah.
obviously she will serve and that's the thing at the moment. It's just been you can't compete at the World Championships. What your punishment is hasn't been determined yet, but it'll be interesting to see if like all of those races she's done since May don't count and whether she has to give the prize money to the next person for all those
Yeah.
like diamond leagues or whatever she's competed in.
I think it's the biggest
Refusing to give a
elephant in the
sample.
room is that like Kenyan, you keep reading these stories about Kenyans getting popped and then no Ethiopians getting popped. So it's kind of, is it really just Kenya or is there something going on differently in these different countries? I've got no
Uganda
idea.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I'm
Uganda's
just
pretty
like,
rare.
have Kenya suddenly got their anti-doping testing into gear, whereas these other countries haven't? But it's kind of, I don't believe it's just Kenya that are producing these cheating athletes. I think it's across the board, unfortunately, and it's really bad to see. But I think if Ethiopia are deliberately going against, what CAS want, etc., it's not a good look at all.
It's probably not just Africa as well. I reckon there's athletes all around the world. Like I'm sure there's Europeans, US,
But they banned Russia,
potentially
I'm
Australians. Like
like,
who
because it
knows?
was
Like
state sponsored, they banned Russia as a whole country. So I'm like, when do we get to there?
Yeah, well, this is actually getting into that, isn't it? Like, if that's a federation saying, no,
Exactly.
whereas the Kenyan stuff, their federation is often, like, they're putting more resources in to get tested, aren't they? Like, they've never done anything like this.
well, did you see that there's that runner that came out? Was it Soy?
Yeah, Sebastian Sawe, I just opened that because he's
Sawa, yeah, he's
Kenyan.
basically said, test me as much as you want over the next however many months. Because what else can I do to prove myself?
I
Yeah, and
always think that
Adidas are
if
going
you
to foot the
win,
bill.
I always think that if you win a big prize money from a big marathon, it should come in installments over 4 or 5 years, and you have to do tons of tests out of competition, like in that time to then to get the full extent of that money. Because often what happens is the money's gone by the time they get banned, and like they're not they'll be bankrupt or whatever. They don't have the money anymore. Their agents have got it. I think it should just become in installments, having proved that you haven't been caught doping like post race. I mean, because there's no other way of doing it. But I think withholding some of that money and then testing them out of competition a certain amount of times the following few years might be a way of kind of stopping them repeating offending, if you see what I mean. Because they'll just get one paycheck and then they'll stop doping or whatever. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I
The
don't know if
issue
that.
is, though, like the Ruth Chepngetich example that tests clean when she breaks the world record at Chicago and then, diuretic 6 months, 3 months, whatever it was later.
But
So,
at
like,
least she
all
then
the
would
evidence on that
money.
one race, though, is clean.
Yeah, but she'd be clean for that race. But then if you're not giving her all the money and then she gets popped 6 months later, then it's like, oh, right, you're not getting that money because
No,
you
but the
got caught.
argument is, though, that she was 100% clean when she did that record,
I
going by
mean,
their testing data.
does
I know
anyone believe
exactly
that?
what you mean. But yeah,
Yeah,
Does
that's the way they'll
anyone
get
believe
around
she
it.
was clean? Like when
Yeah.
Nobody these days will test positive in competition tests. Like you'd have to be so dumb to do that. It's the micro dosing, and there's like a small window of catching athletes, and so it's the out of competition testing that needs to be ramped up because that's when you're going to catch people.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought when I saw that Swaway was like, yeah, test me as many times as possible. Don't give us any notice. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's amazing. But then I'm
I
like,
love
have they just discovered something that they know isn't going to, you know what I mean? They're like, you can't test us as many times as you want. You won't find this new thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad that you have to think like that. But yeah, that was a big story to open up the world champs. And then the first couple of races over there, Croaks.
Yeah, so we'll start with the women's 10K. Like, I've actually really enjoyed every single distance and middle distance event this year. I feel like the 10K in the past been a little bit boring, a little bit predictable. Like I thought Chebet would probably just run away with it. But K to go, there's still like 4 of them there. Chebet was too good in the end. She won 30-37, but Battocletti from Italy, like she held on really well for a national record, 30-38, which in those conditions to run a PB and a national record was like close to high 20s, high humidity. And Tsegaye was third, 30-39. from an Aussie point of view, Lauren Ryan was 9th, 31.27, and Izzi Batt-Doyle was 17th in 31.53.
Epic races.
Oh,
Races. Chebet just looks so good with 150 to go. What was the last K? 239?
yeah. But she didn't blow the doors off Battocletti. Like, Battocletti still held fairly tough.
I know, which is crazy.
I
Because
thought she was going to get her with 80 to go.
Mm.
Battocletti kind of caught up a tiny bit, and I was like, no way. But then, just didn't quite have the legs. But that was so impressive. She's a special talent, isn't she? My goodness.
We don't talk about Lauren Ryan enough getting it right. She gets it right very often, but on the world stage in these 10Ks. Like the Olympics last night, she goes under the radar because she's overseas. She's got that American accent, doesn't seem to train with any Australians. But like, ninth, it's a big result.
And 31.27 in those conditions still is a great run as well.
Yeah. She's in this cycle. You guys were talking about it on Road to Sydney, Nick, that she performs well at these major champs, which puts her in the ranking points. She gets these bonus ranking points, and every year it kind of just rolls over to the next major champs.
Yeah,
so like
I mean, that's an impressive method.
Yeah.
Peaking
and
at
because
the right
there's not
time.
many 10K races, she's just like, who's going to better that? 31.
Next year will be the year, though, where it's not the case in a way because there's just com games. So what she's doing now probably won't count for the next world champs, which is 2 years away, if that makes sense. Whereas obviously last year was the Olympics, so running well at the Olympics qualifies her for this world champs.
Yeah.
Women's 1500 meter heat. So Jess and Lyndon both made it through to the semis. Looked quite good. Jess was perfect, such a great tactician. Lyndon had to work. Well, there was a real solid last sort of 800 meters, and that sort of cooked her legs a fair bit. Like down the home straight, you could see that she, was sort of climbing stairs. Sarah Billings, unfortunately, was 9th in her heat, so they only took top 6 from each heat through to the semis. So she missed out, and Laura Muir was also run out in the heats. We then had the semi-finals last night. So Lyndon, unfortunately, was 7th, but gave herself every shot. She was sitting on Faith Kipyegon's shoulder, was still in 3rd place with probably 150 to go, but just faded down the straight. And I'm wondering whether the way that the race the night before was run may have just taken too much out of her legs. Jess was 2nd in her semi, crossing the line with Nelly Chepchirchir and Nikki Hiltz.
Lyndon was fully aggressive in that race, and I think she might have. I don't know. When she was on the shoulder of Faith Kipyegon, I was just a bit like, sit behind her, but she obviously then didn't want to get caught on the rail. But you're behind Faith. It's like, that's a great person to be caught behind on the rail. And it kind of seemed that she was like going a bit too aggressively, a bit too early. So I was kind of worried when I was watching it.
I asked Jeff on the Daily Show because the women's 1500 heats, each heat was run in a different way. And he said that it's better off when it's just a nice consistent pace throughout and maybe just a little bit of a kick in the last 200-300. Whereas Lyndon's was from like 800 meters in, it was like a sub 60-second lap from 8 to 12 and then still having the gas on. So, she's essentially running an all out 800, which is a harder way to run it or makes you more tired than the more consistent even pace. Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's 24 hours as well. That's not enough time to recover from a 2-minute 800 or whatever she closed in.
Yeah.
Jess just a true professional at this stage, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Plus, covering moves, interviews are perfect. Everything's perfect.
I think as well, when Jess is at that level, it doesn't matter how the races are run, particularly in the heats and the semi-finals. She can either qualify if it's fast. She's too good that if it's slow, she can still burn them off or be competitive in a kick down. Final will be interesting because obviously I think a faster final suits her for coming like 2nd place. Whereas if it's a slower final, it's probably a bit more of a lot. I reckon there's probably 4 girls going for 2nd and 3rd if it's really slow. So anyway, that'll be an interesting watch. Men's steeple, we had Ed Trippas. He was 12th in his heat, which we found out when he was on the start line that he'd been battling some back stuff just this week. So it's a shame for him. There's a couple of falls. So Geordie Beamish from New Zealand, he's sort of moved up with 400 to go, took the next hurdle and fell over. but got up like really quickly, was able to get back on, and still had a massive kick in him down the home straight. So he's one to watch in the final because that was super impressive. And Lemecha Gurma also fell. He nailed himself in the Paris Olympics down the back straight on the last lap, and he fell like 800 meters into the race. It looked pretty painful. He fell onto the rail, but he got up and qualified. So
Gurma's fall in the Olympics, that was the hardest hit I think I've seen in steeple. You could hear it on the footage, like a massive clang. And having done a few steeples back in the day, like, man, I'd get PTSD for sure. And then him going over again. So I don't know. Do a 5K, seriously. Just forget it.
Because those steeple hurdles are so solid.
They are solid, yeah. Absolute. What a guy to go back out there and do steeple again. Because after that hit, and he was in hospital, right?
He was. Yeah, knocked himself out.
Oh yeah, fair play. But yeah, my brother's put a bet on Beamish. I think it was 150 to 1, and he's kind of put $10 on it. I think he's like going to win, yeah.
I don't think he'll win, but I reckon definitely a chance for a place.
He's into $15 now though, Nick. And then
cash out.
To place. Let me see. Oh yeah, we got to load up on the place here. Gamble responsibly. $2.95.
Yeah, there's still lots of good guys in there though, Brady.
There's about 8. There's probably 8 guys in front of him.
Yeah. Men's 1500. So this was probably the most disappointing aspect of the championship so far for us. So we had Jude Thomas finished 11th in his heat. Adam Spencer was 10th in his heat, but he definitely gave himself every opportunity. Like he was there when the whips were cracking, but just didn't have it in the sort of last couple of hundred. And Cam was 8th. I really thought Cam would make it fast because they ran like 2 64-second laps. And, when we had him on the show, he sort of said he's not afraid of being at the front and keeping it honest. But we have heard that he had been sick in the lead up, and he said that running those 64-second laps, which would normally feel like a jog for him, were a lot harder than they should have been. So there's sounds like there's something going on with his body. Some other big names to miss out were Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Habs from France, and Faniel Koech. Koech had a fall with like 400 to go. So the 1500, the men's 1500 is just, I don't know, so stacked that there's just so many people that could win that one.
I mean, Habs kind of came out of nowhere for that Paris Diamond League. Runs like 3:27 or something, and then kind of almost disappeared again. I don't know. That was a weird one. And then to see him go out, I was like, I don't know. It's been around for ages. Suddenly runs 3:27, and then it kind of goes out in the heats. Obviously, Jakob wasn't.
Don't mind that from you, Nick.
I'm not
throwing around some accusations. No. You haven't said it officially, but everyone knows what you mean. Hey, I just had a note here, like we go in with too high expectations. I think like there was people in our group chat talking about how all 3 of them are going to make it through to the semi-final.
That was you, mate. That was you.
We have this warped perception or like understanding from the Diamond League. So we see it like Aussies get really good runs at the Diamond League. So we're watching Cam at the Diamond League going, he's there at 150 to go. He's getting tripped. He's moving up the inside at Oslo. Same with Linden. She's coming 3rd at the Diamond League final. We forget that there's a whole lot of people not rocking up to the Diamond Leagues. And here they do. Wasn't there like 30 people under 332?
Yeah.
So and then we have this perception that, the Aussies will be right. They'll get through. Well, Cam's a new king. He'll be right, yada, yada. And then you're like, no, this is a full global sport that we're looking at here. And we're not, these guys hopefully will be all good. I watched Cam didn't do an interview with SBS afterwards, but I watched the other ones, Adam Spencer and Jude Thomas, the prince who was promised. And they're both like hungry. I want to make finals. I want to win. Like they're going to be great this can only help them like to put fire in their bellies.
Has Stewie's consistency from like 2019 to like 2021 or whatever, Stewie was just there every single time at the front. Has his consistency kind of given us a bit of kind of false hope? Well,
him and Ollie both made the final at Tokyo. Like, I think the event's actually moved on a bit as well. Like it's got harder.
Definitely. There's like Stewie and Ollie were like top 5, 6, 7 in the world, legitimately. Whereas now you've got 30 guys that are like I still feel like you've got your top 5 or 6 or 7, but then there's another 20 guys, and that's where I still feel like the Diamond League is relevant, Brady, because generally
I'm
the
not
people
saying
that
it's not relevant.
yeah,
I'm just saying it's not
yeah,
the all be all, and it's not the whole thing.
But the people that are still at the pointy end of the Diamond Leagues when people rock up are still going to be the ones that are going to be really competitive at the World Championships. Where it is tough is for guys like Cam who are in that sort of, finishing maybe 5th, 6th at Diamond League. There's a heap of guys around that level. And so it's hard for those guys to progress to the semi-finals because at the end of the day, they're only going to take 24. And so you've probably got your top 6 or 7 that I said, and then after that, it's a real lottery unless you're tactically better than everybody else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When there's so many of these 1,500 meter guys too, they can't all get into the Diamond Leagues. So that's where their managers become so important. Like you look at Seth, how hard it was for him to get into 5Ks and stuff like that. So yeah, I just think we've got to relax, stop putting as much pressure on these people. Like, the expectation maybe is that these guys. But and they got to learn from this. That's a big thing. Like if Cam's getting sick a week out from the race, you got to be like, well, what are you doing? Like you're walking around with a mask on. Who you're interacting with? Like we all get sick. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure there's people that really wrap themselves in. I'm not saying he didn't.
Paula Radcliffe famously wore an oxygen mask when she went on planes because she's just like, I'm not breathing in anyone else's air before a race. So it's just like. Just
maybe not to that extreme, but it's just like, it's unfortunate if he's got crook.
Yeah,
but I think also just to mention, this had no Nagoose, no Ollie Hoare as well, and because they're they're up there too. There's just so many 1,500 runners. It's just
and out of shape Jakob.
That's it. You can't that's where in the past I reckon a 60% Jakob would at least make it through to the semis, whereas now. The event has moved on that even he can't fake it.
Yeah, and Australia aren't sending a 3:31 guy. Like, could you imagine saying that? Like,
yeah. But like looking at it, on paper, like Cam's probably the only one of those 3 that competed that you would say is in the top 24 in the world. The other 2 probably aren't really. Because Cam's a couple of seconds quicker than those other 2 guys.
Yeah.
But also Cam is very much, for him to run his best on the world stage, the race does need to be fast at the moment because he doesn't have the wheels if it's slow for 800.
Well, that's the other thing. All these Diamond Leagues are just paced perfectly. Like, I loved how you guys spoke about on that Daily Show about how Lyndon Hall did that stuff with training partners in the past about how they, would chuck elbows into her, they'd slow it down, they'd box her in. Like, how much practice has Cam had at that?
Yeah, well, I don't think they're equipping themselves with all the tools needed to cover every single scenario at a World Championship.
Yeah, and these kids are all young, so that's probably why Adam Spencer looked the best of the 3 of them. Like, because he's done that in NCAAs.
All right, move on to the women's marathon. So we had Susanna Sullivan from the US. She was out on her own for a long way, got caught just before 30K, and I thought her race was done. To her credit, like she actually hung on really well to finish 4th, but it was Perez, Jepchirchir, and Asefa. They broke away just after 30K, and it ended up being a sprint finish. Like Asefa looked like she was ready to pounce down the back straight. Like they showed her face, and there was no like stress on it whatsoever. I'm like, okay, she's going to go here. She did go, but only enough to just get in front of Jepchirchir. It was almost like, all right, I'm going to kick now, and then that marathon feeling of, my legs don't actually have a kick left. So Perez Jepchirchir was able to then kick past and get the win, 2:24.43 to Asefa's 2:24.45. And the story of the day was Patanane from Uruguay got the bronze, 2:27.22. She didn't actually know she was in the bronze medal position because I think at the 35K mark, she was in 6th. And then she was in 3rd place at the 40K mark. But those people that she passed probably just stepped off the road. So she had no idea that she'd gone past like 3 people. So that was a great story. From an Aussie perspective, Vanessa Wilson was 38th in 2:39, Sarah Klein 42nd in 2:41, and Tara Palm 48th in 2:44. Brutal morning.
How were the facial expressions of Jepchirchir, like 80 metres to go? Like sometimes in sport, sometimes in sport, very good people, like the best in the world, make it look so easy. Like she turned into a beast. Like this new facial expression, arms everywhere. If you get a chance, just go look at how she clicked into beast mode with 80 meters to go and put Tigsa Sefa, put her in the coffin. Like, it's good to see people turn into animals in sporting events sometimes.
Yeah. And then last night, men's 10,000 meters, it was another cracker. We've seen so many championship 10,000 meters where the Africans have just dominated, but this one was real cat and mouse. There's like fluctuations in pace, and Kejelcha, who I am a massive fan of, the guy's been like around for a long time. He's never really cracked it for like a major medal, particularly not gold, but with 200 to go, it looked like that he may do it. But Gressier from France was able to run him down, which obviously played in the fact that it wasn't quick. They went through 5K in 15:10, probably meant that it kept a lot of those guys in it. Gressier got the win, 28:55.77. Kejelcha second, 28:55.83, and Almgren from Sweden, it was third, 28:56.02. The second 5K was running 13:45.
It's great to see Gressier make it on this world stage, because we've been watching him in Europe for years. He's always doing like the European cross countries and stuff, and he was winning age grade, like the under 20s or whatever, and he had that he's famous for sliding through the line with the French flags, and then there was some kind of chip timing thing on the floor, and he just stacked it face planted. And he's got character. And I think athletics needs, especially distance running, we need more characters. I mean, Kipchoge's a character, and the splash he caused at Sydney was just out of this world. And Gressier is an absolute character, and it's lovely to see him get some success. And we kind of need more of that personality in long distance running. Quite often, they're very humble guys, those Africans, but they're very diligent, and they are just like, yes, I run very well. That's their interviews, and they work hard, they're quiet, they get the job done. Whereas I want to see more characters. So I'd say Kejelcha's got character. He's always smiling, he's always chatting away. And and it's just Gressier, nice to see some characters like make it to the top in the 10K.
Well, I thought his Diamond League final victory, I'm like, oh, that's sort of a bit of an outlier. Like he may have got lucky. And then for him to do it again, it's like, certainly now, like, okay, if he's on the start list, got to take him seriously.
Absolutely.
How can you though, Nico, be not happy with Habs's improvement, but then Gressier, it's okay? Gressier's kind of always been here, always getting smoked by these guys, and now he's smoking them.
But I mean, I've watched Gressier for years, I've seen how talented he is from cross country. To be honest, I'm not hugely into middle distance, but I hadn't heard of Habs before the Paris Diamond League, and then suddenly he's like the best in the world. And this is Gressier's race. It's not like he ran 26:40 here or 26:20 or something crazy. He's just tactically, he's got a good kick. He's always had a good kick. And he's used it to perfection here. So I'm not suspicious about this result. Katia, very suspicious about his results from a few years ago. And it turned out he was cheating. And it's just, sometimes it just looks fishy. This one to me didn't look fishy. But, no
Cheptegei or Kiplimo as well. So a couple of those big players weren't there.
So it opened it up a bit. Yeah.
Want to make your next race day the best one yet? Well, dialing in your nutrition strategy is one of the most effective ways you can do that. Luckily, our show sponsor, Precision Fuel and Hydration, offers you the chance to do this in the most effective way possible. Book a free consultation with their team to fine-tune your fueling plans. Emphasis here on you, as they offer tailored advice based on your circumstances and the race you're taking on. They're there to help you achieve your goals all year long, and as mentioned, this service is free of charge and a great opportunity to ask them any questions you may have about fueling and hydrating for your race. No question is too daft for them. We've loved Precision for a long while, and this free service is another reason why. Use the link in the show notes and use code IR-Spring2025 for 15% off your first order and start smashing those goals today.
Men's marathon this morning, probably the greatest finish we've ever seen for a major marathon. Three guys entered the stadium together down the back straight. Ayani from Italy, he sort of dropped off, and then it was Petros in front from Germany, and Simbu from Tanzania was on his shoulder. Petros down the home straight looked like he'd done enough, because Simbu almost went, I'm done. And then about 30 meters from the line, Petros is not getting any further ahead, and Simbu's like, I'm going to have one more crack here, and just accelerated and got him right on the line. So Simbu from Tanzania got the win, 209.48. Really even splitted race, like 65.19 through halfway. Second half was 64.29. It was just a race of attrition where people just slowly dropped off, but there was no massive surge. Petros, 209.48, it's the same time, and Ayani was third from Italy, 209.53. Aussies, Tim Vincent was 44th in 2:20 and 12 seconds, and Lambudin, 57th, 2:24.39. Anyone want to say there before we go to the steeple?
Well, what a finish! So it was 3/100ths of a second between them, which was less than the 100 meters. I was like, that's amazing. Yeah. Like, it was an incredible finish. He came from nowhere in the last 50 meters there. It was just it was a great watch. And then Petros just looked like he had it all wrapped up. But Petros was celebrating like he won afterwards. He seemed he was doing basketball moves and all sorts, and it was just
he actually had the finishing tape like wrapped around him. Like, when he ever got the finishing tape wrapped around you when you haven't won? You know what I mean? That's how close it was. He took the tape. Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, oh shit, does he think he's won? I'm like, you haven't won. Like, he hasn't seen the result yet, but he was up and about, Petros. And I think even the prize money, I think it was like 70,000 US for first, and then like 35,000 for second. So he's just lost himself $35,000 in a dip. Do you reckon 20 meters to go, he looks over his shoulder twice? Now, what was the first lesson your old coach taught you back when you started running, what to never do in running races?
Yeah. Look behind.
Never look behind. And it's got to impact, like when we're talking about, what was it? 100th of a second.
300.
3/100ths, yeah.
He looks, he's just like, shit, and then he takes one more step, and then he looks again. You're like, just run through the line. Don't know if it would have helped him, but yeah.
I don't think the money's a major factor there, because now that he's a world championship silver medalist, like, his appearance fees are going to be decent. Like, he'll be all right, I think, Brady.
Yeah, but still, 35,000 US for people like me on the school teachers part-time wage croaks. That's life-changing.
And last event we're going to recap from World Champs, the women's steeple heats were this morning. We had two Aussies, Amy Chasin, she was 11th in her heat, running 9:50. The heat was won by Yavi, 9:15. Cara Feain-Ryan was 10th, 9:42, won by Chemutay in 9:07. That's World Champs.
We need a big second half of the week, don't we? Like, from an Australian point of view.
Yeah, I think, we
need Jess to snag a medal. We need
Peter Bowl make the final.
So there's going to be all this gout hype's going to come up the next couple of days, so we've got to survive that.
Claudia to make the semis and be really competitive in the semis, potentially make a final.
Yeah, we're coming from behind. We thought we might have been this time, aren't we? Like, we probably would have thought we got maybe Lyndon through the semi, maybe one of the boys through the semi.
Yep.
Well, Croaks was talking about all the field events in his ABC little chat he did. So there's lots of hopes in the high jump, Croaks.
High jump, pole vault.
You're coming for Dave Colbert's job, I reckon. You'll start calling it field and track soon.
Liam Adcock in the long jump.
I reckon Bruce McAvaney, he's done as well. You can probably have his job, but I'll get to him a bit later.
Yeah, he thought there was an extra lap in the 15. I was, oh dear. Yeah. And then you're listening to Steve Cram on the BBC, and it's just the best commentary you can possibly hear. I'm like,
we'll talk about it now. Feed? Talk about it now. So you've been watching the world feed?
Yeah, I watched SBS today, and then it's just like, but then I've been on a BBC stream, and it's just so much better. Like, yeah.
I'm on, I think it's Channel 9, their morning sessions, they have the world feed. And I don't even know who the commentators are, but they're that good. And then for the night sessions, they go to like Jen Gregson and Matt Hill, and then Dave Colbert's down there as well. And maybe they got like Nina Kennedy. I don't know which one Nina Kennedy's on actually.
Yeah, no, Nina Kennedy's on the 9-1 as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I find it, I love the feed where it's just like everyone's equal. Like I do love where they do focus on the Aussie feed and stuff as well. But when you got the marathon on today and it was like, there's no Aussies anywhere near the lead pack and you can have the app open to see where they are, you get a really good intel of like world athletics, I suppose. And I don't know, I reckon some of those facts that Tams and Manu, like she'll start going with those random facts, like 500 meters into a 1500 meter race, takes her 20 seconds to read out that the athlete's next door neighbor's dog is like a whatever, and then this person got married to that person. You're like, you just missed 100 meters of the race. Like, I like hearing commentators call the race and not do that random stuff. Like that should have been done pre-race, I reckon.
Talking about the dots from the suction cups on someone's shoulders as well was a bit of a classic. It was like, because you get really sore shoulders when you're a long distance runner.
I wanted to have a segment on the Daily Show, like dumb shit you've heard on the coverage. But you'd spend the whole show talking about the dumb shit you've heard. But yeah, I think it's everyone's got their own preference, and obviously mine isn't. And now that they've got like cameras in there, and they're just in the studio watching what we're watching, but then they videotape themselves reactions to the, like, I don't like the way we're going. And that's come from like footy media as well, where the commentators are becoming the stars. And it's like, you don't have to play up for the video. Just call the race. It's not about you here.
Also, you need someone who's in charge of what we're looking at on screen. Like, because they've obviously got a load of options for what do we put on the screen. You need that person in that room to understand the race. Like, you need a marathon runner in there saying, right, let's see this group because there's going to be a move. I could tell that this group's about to break up. Let's focus on this. Rather than just like, they just randomly hit the button and they're like, oh, there's been a big break in the front pack. It's like, oh, sometimes
they're not controlling that though. They're just getting
no, they're not. That's why you need someone in that room. And this was going to be my nick on the loose or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll get to it now. And it's just like when the winner goes through the line in a marathon, this happens in world majors all the time, and they just film the winner and they'll ignore what's going on in the rest of the race. So you don't see who comes, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You're just watching the winner who's collapsed on the floor, just got spit all over their face. You're watching that going, who came third? Who came fourth? Like, what is going on? And I was thinking about this, and it's like they want to, like, it's like when there's a goal scored in football, it's like you film the celebration. It's like AFL, there's a mark. We'll replay the mark or whatever, and then we'll watch them slot the goal or whatever. And it's like there's nothing else going on in those sports. So you obviously film the celebration. In running, there's still action. It's still going on. There's like national records, there's personal bests going on in the back in the race, which we're not seeing because we're watching someone with a towel over their face lying on the ground. It just drives me absolutely crazy, like when they do that. And
they've been pretty good at shot. Like we saw all the Aussie girls come in yesterday.
I was going to say the Japanese, they seem to understand the marathon. I know they're running obsessed in Japan, and I think they're in charge of the feed. So the feed compared Sydney to today's marathon.
Oh yeah,
it was a world of difference. And one of the best things they did, they just filmed the water station for 3 minutes. And so you could see the different groups come through. You could see everyone like getting their drinks and kind of panicking, and the dynamics in the different groups. You could see the differences, like the distances between the groups. And some people like Moose 2019 running, this is the pinnacle of their career. There's no footage of Moose running in that race. Whereas if they just put the camera at the drink station like they did today, you see a ton of runners come through grabbing their drinks. I mean, I just thought that was very simple, really good understanding of marathon running. We don't need to see the front group all the time, where it's the same people just on the front. It looks the same. It's not dynamic. It's boring. Whereas you just hold a camera there, just a couple of minutes, and then you understand what's going on in the whole race rather than just on that front. And I just thought that was so good today compared to the Sydney coverage.
Or when someone drops off the lead pack, they'd send the motorbike back to him. Or like when Cripper pulled out, they're like, there's a motorbike or a camera right on him. Like,
exactly.
I think the coverage has been really, really good so far. Just questioning some of the commentary.
The marathon in Japan, I think, because if you watch Japanese marathons, the coverage is fantastic because they also have like the time. They've got tons of information on the screen. A lot of it is in Japanese, but you kind of get the gist of what's going on. Like, there's just a lot more information than what we get at like the world majors. Like, because London coverage is often pretty average, and then the Sydney coverage, like they just did not nail that coverage at all. Anyway, so I enjoyed the marathons had great coverage. I was definitely credit where it's due. I thought that was way better, and they filmed everyone coming in to the stadium and finishing their races, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, so good. Tell us about some New South Wales half marathon champs, Nico.
Oh yeah, so New South Wales half marathon happened. Where was that, Croaks? Do you know?
Yeah, it was at Homebush.
Homebush.
They do like basically three 7K loops around Homebush. So similar to Sydney 10, but it's probably not as good of a course because there's a few more out and back sections.
Yeah, okay. So is this the equivalent of their XCR series, like that kind of thing?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So this was won by Drew Fryer in 67.14 and then Kurt Fryer 67.39. Are they siblings?
Yeah, brothers.
Brothers. Okay, so a bit of family rivalry going on there. And then Yusuke Shibaya, sorry, 68.08. In the women's, Jenny Blundell, 74.37. Emma Beck Getway, 75.01. And then Georgia Beck, 80 minutes. So a bit of a gap there. 5-minute gap between second and third in the New South Wales half marathon champs. How are the numbers, Croaks? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure. Like it's not huge, nothing compared to like Burnley half.
Yeah, because that was that's always pretty big. I think that's the biggest kind of domestic kind of competition is still XCR, and I think they're going great. So in the news, you fellas hear about Kipchoge and Hassan going to run New York. That's they're going to be raking in some cash, I reckon, for that.
It's got to be off the success of Sydney, doesn't it? Like they would have looked at all those events they did, how well they kind of bounced off each other. And then they would have said, let's package this and also sell it to New York Marathon. Like Kipchoge's not going there to perform.
No.
It's a fun. I'm interested.
What is it?
8 weeks between?
Oh, it's not enough. But I mean, why wouldn't you if you were them?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was more risk for Hassan, like doing two big marathons like that within 8 weeks. It's not usually what we see the world's best do. To try to win them both as well.
Yeah, and she's
not off courses.
She's not at the twilight of her career where she's just trying to, get a bit of extra money for a superannuation. It's retirement.
Whereas Kipchoge, that's coming out of the marketing budget, not the elite athlete budget.
You talk about characters in the sport, though. How good were they both at Sydney? Like,
I know.
Hassan getting ice cream, and her interviews were funny as well. She's funny.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. And I totally get it. I've got and I think they'll be great for New York Marathon. So it'd be interesting to hear.
This is the first indication, though, that Kipchoge's done and you can pay him to be at your event.
His season's best is 2:05.
Yeah, but
he's not winning another major.
No.
I reckon he ticks this off as the World Marathon Major, the last one that he hasn't done, and then it's just like, who's the highest bidder?
Yeah.
Like we might see him at some random Chinese marathon next year.
You might pay him to come out for the paddle steamer race, Brady.
Sweat versus Steam, November 16th, listeners. I need some entries.
Well, I was third behind Kipchoge left in the over 40s race, so I wonder if if that gets me any kind of kudos.
Do they pay age group prize money at Sydney?
No, well, I haven't had any yet, so I'm waiting.
You'll get a nice medal, I'm sure.
You should check out if you can get into Boston Marathon. with their
Oh, so they sent me an email saying, "Oh, you've made it to World Championship age group
here we go.
thing
Oh yeah,
in
sounds
in
right down your alley.
in Cape Town." And I was like, "All right, so are you gonna give me free travel then?" And it's just like it's basically turned into triathlon, where it's like
Yeah.
everyone goes to Worlds. It's like so basically I think they've sent this email to like the top 100 ranked people in world major age categories, and basically it's like $3,000 to pay for a hotel room at Cape Town, and then you have to pay your own flights. It's basically you don't get anything. It's just like come do our race. We'll give you like an elite start, but you have to pay a shit ton of money for it.
Well,
Yes.
Cape Town are following the same script as Sydney because they're
Yeah,
in that
Sydney did
they're in
that.
that candidacy period at the moment, and Sydney had the world age group champs last year, so they're basically just a year behind of what Sydney was doing.
Yeah, and they put them all on the start line right behind the elites, and then you had like guys racing the 70+ world champs going off behind like the elites, and then everyone like trampling them. I think it was real dangerous. But you know who's rocking up to Cape Town next year?
Kipchoge.
You know, yeah, 100%. And then he'll do that Chinese one that's also in the candidacy at the moment. He's going to have so much cash.
I
His
think
manager is a
they
very
need to
smart
cap
man.
it, because then it will lose its special kind of like
Yeah.
status. They
Yeah,
cap
they
it
do.
at 10
Sure,
or
you
whatever.
shut it down then. Yeah.
10's a nice round number. 10 majors. Maybe take one out of the US. I don't know. That's probably a controversial take, but why should they get 3? I don't know.
Yeah, Chicago. I don't know. New York and Boston seem more like Chicago's just flat fast.
Take Chicago away and give it to Valencia.
Chicago was a beautiful race. You got to spread them more throughout the world, don't you? How many's Europe already got? Just London,
And Berlin.
Berlin.
Yeah, but then US have got 2.
You go
I
Paris.
guess Europe would have 3.
Asia will
Rio,
get the Chinese one.
We need a South America one.
You probably need one in. You probably need one in like. You need one in Kenya or Ethiopia, or Uganda or something, don't you? That's where all the powerhouses are coming from.
South America,
Brazil,
They need
Bolivia.
it though. It's like it'll get a bit silly if they end up with like 100 or something. It kind of loses its credibility.
Chukwuemeka could go over both bridges.
Paddle steamer.
Starts in one state, finish in another state. Get the paddle steamers going. That was Running News. Thanks to Axel Coffee for this week's Running News. Check them out at axelcoffee.com.au. Whispers got a big one yesterday. Not allowed to say it though, Nick. It's fucking huge. One of the biggest whispers I've ever had to come across my desk. Croaks is smiling because it's in the same group chat. But yeah, it's going to be big. We'll get some more information, then we'll go with that one. But big for distance running in Australian.
How is this a whisper, Brady? You just say you know something.
I know something.
bragging. I know something that you don't, Nick.
Just if you love track and field in Australia, you'll be happy with this whisper when I can give you more details. That was it.
Look forward to it next week.
What about
you got angry? Come on, Brady. You got a few things you're angry about.
This is Brady on the loose now. The bigs at the World Champs are way too big. You can't even see the country. So all you see is the bib, and then you'll see like a Nike tick up the top, and you're like, well, what country is this person from?
It is 2025. Why the hell are we still putting pieces of paper at the biggest events in running, the Olympics? It's embarrassing. It's like you've got so many designers designing these countries' kits. They make them look really good. They make them breathable. And suddenly everyone's got pieces of paper all over them. You look like a bloody Christmas tree. It's just stupid. Why are we still doing this? We have chips. We know who everyone is. Just stop with it's just absolutely ridiculous. The commentators should know who they are. They can look at the chips if they don't even know who they are. It's stupid. Why are we still doing this in 100 meters when they're in their lane? Why the hell do we have named the bloody bibs, pieces of paper on our athletes? It's so stupid. Anyway.
That sounded like it was Nick on the loose as well. I love that he agreed with me there, Croaks. But you're right. We're the world champs. I want to know what country you're representing. I don't, bib doesn't need to be that big. Also, like we got the Chemist Warehouse one. We got Chemist Warehouse now on our tops. You notice that?
Yeah.
We haven't always had, have we?
No, they've been a sponsor for the last maybe year or two.
Yeah, but does that mean Puma's not giving us enough? Like, is this good from Athletics Australia that they were like double dipping? Now we can get 2 logos on? Because most countries don't have 2 logos. I know there's a lot of other countries that do, but I'd say the majority don't. Like, is this, we double dipped or are we getting nothing, well, not much off Puma, so we've got to go find Chemist Warehouse?
Did the US have Honda or not? Or is that just the bibs that have Honda?
Yeah, that's the thing. The bibs are so big. I legit thought someone was running for the country of Honda today.
I
The
wasn't sure
bibs
if
are that big.
yeah.
Yeah, the US. That's what was confusing me, Croaks. Those women in the marathon. I'm like, what country are these ladies from?
I don't mind our uniforms to be like. Look, compared to
No, uniforms are good, but why have we got we got a
yeah,
discount chemist logo on our national
yeah.
singlet? I'm like,
Compared to BLK that Moose had to wear, like they're pretty good looking.
yeah, good
kit.
uniforms. I just reckon that people are laughing at us over the world because we've got a discounted chemist front and center on our bibs. So maybe we need more money from Puma. Listen to the question, Croaks. Let's bring the show home. Meant to be a quick one because you've got to get online in about 10 minutes to do the actual daily episode. So let's
20 minutes. 20 minutes to start my second episode.
Can we go with a more basic question then? Or
Yeah,
they're both pretty detailed.
No, I think we'll go with the one that I originally had, but we will use that one, Nick, that you put in there because that's good. But I think we can answer this.
Nick's done hours of prep for that question.
I think we can answer this one a bit quicker. So, the question is, so this episode's listener question is proudly brought to you by Precision Fuel and Hydration. Need to get a plug in there for our sponsor. How can you balance building mileage / volume with injury prevention? And that question comes from Tom Beecham.
It's a good question.
Who wants to go first?
So a lot of people often want to know how to build mileage, and people want to know how much mileage is enough, which is very hard to put a number on. But the answer is often how much you can handle without getting injured, and it doesn't impact the quality of your work.
It's not just mileage though; it's quality. It's like if you just did mileage, if you just did 5-minute Ks, you could get a hell of a lot done. But it's not necessarily going to help you. But it will probably keep you injury free. I mean, we're constantly having this argument about sub thresholds that people are doing, and it's kind of the Norwegian singles or whatever. I'm just like, to me, it's half-assed training. That's another word for it. But when people then say, "Oh, I always get injured," so now I'm just going to do my sessions at sub threshold. So they're doing like 600 meter reps or something at like 10K pace, something like that. That's kind of what that's kind of what they're doing. But to me, it looks like a half-assed session. But if you're usually getting injured by doing hard sessions, then I kind of understand it. But I mean, so I'd say it's not just mileage and volume, like with injury prevention. It's also how hard you're going, in your runs as well.
But I guess the question is, how do you build volume? Like if that's your goal is to actually build volume, then you need then running things a bit easier is an easier way to build volume than if you have high intensity. Because that's what the question was, wasn't it? How do you build volume
without getting injured
or mileage? Yeah. So slowing things down helps you run more. Whereas if you're doing everything intense and you're trying to increase mileage, that's not going to work. Do you agree?
Yeah. And it's also like you don't have to increase mileage on every day of the week. Like it's, putting that extra 5 or 10 minutes onto the long run, but then actually going, well, we've increased the long run by 10 minutes. We can cut back the Monday because that's highly risky when you're going to be like tired from the long run. You pull that back 5 minutes, you still got an extra 5 minutes for your week. And then it's like that anecdotal, like, how are you feeling? Like if you're someone who always does 6 by 1K, can you put it up to 8 by 1K? How does that make you feel? Like, and using all this data to be like, where can we push? Where do we need to ease back? What's coming up in your life that's super stressful? Because increasing mileage or volume when you got life stress going on as well is a bad idea, because that's also volume on your body, although it's not kind of running. And then I just think it's like, I often get the question as well, like, when should I double? And it's like, well, we've still got room to move on some of your easy jogs before we then implement doubling. So it's a really, really tricky question, but I think the answer is knowing what kind of an athlete you are, what's made you injured in the past, is super important because you want to avoid those things. And then it's looking at your training week to be like, where can we increase the volume with as little risk as possible?
And schedule down weeks as well.
To absorb it, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And don't increase volume until you feel like you're actually handling what you're currently doing. Because that's often the thing is, it's like, oh yeah, I did this. I want to increase it by 10% every week or whatever. But like, maybe you're not ready to increase it by 10% that week. So just wait until that training load feels really comfortable before you then start to add it. But I definitely think if you want to increase volume, and you do a lot of intensity, then just backing off some of that intensity is a way of increasing the volume a bit.
I think also make sure you've got a shoe rotation. So if you're wearing the same pair of shoes for all of your easy runs, and if there's something wrong with those shoes or whatever, or they're just putting a bit too much pressure on one part of your legs or whatever, then that can then lead to injury. Whereas if you have a few in rotation, that will help get the mileage up and potentially kind of sort of iron out some of those kind of.
And I guess related to that as well is the terrain that you're running on. Like I think I can run more mileage if I'm running out at mulligans on the trails than if I'm doing everything on the concrete. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like when I was running 180K a week, like 120 of that was on the trails. Whereas if I was doing 180K on the concrete, I couldn't do it.
No way. You'll be injured.
So, yeah.
Very quickly.
Hope that's answered your question, Tom. It's a tricky one. But before we move on, would you look to increase mileage through easy jogging or workouts first?
Probably easy jogging initially. I feel like you need to like develop that base before you start adding the intensity. Like there's some people that I coach that they would get more benefit just from jogging. They don't need the sessions because they just don't have the base behind them. So I would initially just increase the volume through the easy jogging, then increase the volume through the sessions.
Yeah, that's a safer way to do it. And if you want to avoid injury like Tom's talking about here, thanks to Precision Fuel and Hydration, visit precisionhydration.com and use the code capitals IR-Spring2025 for 15% off your first order. Got a lot of world champ stuff coming up here, Croaks. We got Run Pricks coming up. Some people call it Run Pre in Melbourne. We got Berlin Marathon. Chriso will be in action there. And we got the City to Bay. So there's some money to be won on the roads this weekend. And a lot of good people out of action. Coming off Sydney, coming off world champs or at world champs.
Melbourne coming up, Melbourne Mara.
Oh, we're talking about on the monthly. Is that not going to be the easiest money to ever win?
Oh, I've got a whisper for you. Bailey Mazecki-Hintz is doing the marathon there.
Oh, he's debuting.
And he's he won Ballarat 15K. He's run 64 low for the half. So I reckon he's if he has a good one, like he could be I don't know, maybe 217 potentially. Like I don't think
he'll get 10 grand for second.
10 grand for second. Hang on, who's winning?
Jack Rayner. Jack Rayner's going to do a 10-day marathon block after his world champs 5K and come down back home and win 25 grand.
Brett, is he going to jump in?
I was suggesting on the monthly that he does.
Ooh,
go win some cash.
Liam was kind of injured, so because he'd normally be there.
Yep. We opened up the rankings of like people who have ran under 220 in the last 2 years, and there's not that many people. So when you take out Andy Buchanan, Pat Tien's not coming home for it because he's doing New York, Brett, Liam, Tommy DeCano, maybe he backs up after Sydney.
Oh, he was straight back running, wasn't he? So
Timmy, Vincent, Lee, and Boodham went today. Like it starts to drip down to people like you and me, Nick.
I don't think so.
And we're not doing it, so you're just like, I think
I'll do the half, and I'll just maybe on the day I'll be like, I'll have a look around, get there early, and just like, hey, Tim Crosby, can I jump in the Mara? Because
I change my bib.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it pays down to fifth, I think. It's like, what have I got here? Prize money. Yeah, there's a bit of cash up for grabs.
There's some bloody good half marathon runners in around Melbourne. I reckon some of them might be.
Oh, stepping up for a full though. 25 first, 10 second, 5 third, 2.5 fourth, 1,250 for fifth. You and me are getting nothing in there, half. So we may as well step up. Just do a workout, Nick. Wave to the crowd, kiss some babies, pose for selfies.
If you want to cop some abuse from Moose, then yes.
Hit the Mario mushroom. That's the episode, legends. If you want more running analysis, monthly, not the monthly, Patreon is the place to say it all. A massive thanks for filling in for us. Nick Croaks is about to go on air for another 40 minutes and talk about some of the same stuff he's just spoken about, but go into way more detail with Jess Denson and Jai Edwards. We'll be back next week. See you later.
See you guys.
Cheers, fellas. See you later.
Want to make your next race day the best one yet? Well, dialing in your nutrition strategy is one of the most effective ways you can do that. Luckily, our show sponsor, Precision Fuel and Hydration, offers you the chance to do this in the most effective way possible. Book a free consultation with their team to fine-tune your fueling plans. Emphasis here on you, as they offer tailored advice based on your circumstances and the race you're taking on. They're there to help you achieve your goals all year long, and as mentioned, this service is free of charge and a great opportunity to ask them any questions you may have about fueling and hydrating for your race. No question is too daft for them. We've loved Precision for a long while, and this free service is another reason why. Use the link in the show notes and use code IR-SPRING2025 for 15% off your first order and start smashing those goals today.